And now today's special guest, the Honourable Dwight Duncan delivered Ontario's provincial budget about 18 hours ago, the Ginty government's fifth and this Minister of Finance second. I think we all understand, if he's a little tired this morning, I understand he stayed here last night and he was up doing radio at 6 this morning. After all, there's a pretty good case to be made that the biggest day of the year for provincial or federal government in a non-election year is the budget. That's the day governments tell taxpayers what they plan to do with their tax dollars. And Budget Day is the day governments let their citizens in on their overall upcoming strategy. So Budget Day is pretty big, and for the Finance Minister, whose job it is to oversee the writing and the delivery of the speech in the legislature yesterday, it's really a process that takes a lot of time. And that's not easy. The Honourable Dwight Duncan has been through all this before as Finance Minister, as a Cabinet Minister, vying for the attention of the Finance Minister, and as a member of the opposition criticizing the Finance Minister. He knows that at the end of the day, what is said before and after the delivery of the budget is much, much less important than what's in the budget itself. Yesterday, he brought in a document that walks the line between all competing interests and disparate points of view in Ontario. And so this morning we're grateful that he's here with us to share his insight just hours after delivering that important document. So I'd like to have you all join me in a warm round of applause for Ontario's Minister of Finance, Dwight Duncan.
Thank you, Alan, very much for that kind introduction, and to Elise and Warren for your sponsorship of the lunch. Warren, I hope your projections are as generous in the future as the sponsorship of the breakfast today. It is, as Alan indicated, I presented Ontario's 2008-9 budget yesterday. I delivered some frank news about the economy and where it's going. I also delivered some positive news. We saw stronger than expected growth in 2007, 2.1%, despite the external challenges that we are facing. And as I said, people like Warren and others have advised us that we will see limited, modest growth in 2008, which is expected to strengthen, by the way, to 2.8% by 2010. Some sectors of our economy are quite healthy and will weather this slower growth period. Other sectors, communities, and families are facing very serious difficulties. The slowing U.S. economy, the world price of oil, and the Canadian dollar are all reducing growth forecasts and creating greater uncertainty here in Ontario. Our export-based manufacturing industries and the forest sector have reduced output and cut jobs. We will maintain our approach of prudent fiscal planning and careful management. And we plan to invest in our economic foundations by implementing a 5-point plan that will steer Ontario through these challenging times. The plan makes investments in skills and education, and I'm delighted to have Premier Peterson here today. It was Premier Peterson who first established the Skills Ministry way back in 1986, and I believe at the time funded it to the tune of $100 million. And people in the field said to me yesterday that that was the first time they'd had real recognition. Congratulations to you, sir, for starting that. Yesterday, I added $1.5 billion to our Skills to Jobs Action Plan. It will train unemployed workers for new careers, expand apprenticeships, build more spaces in colleges and universities, and help students with education costs. A highly skilled workforce is a key economic advantage, and at the moment it is absolutely critical. We also moved forward on an additional $1 billion in municipal infrastructure, including funding for roads, bridges, public transit, and social housing. We have a long history here in Ontario of investing in innovators. Yesterday, I didn't wear new shoes to the budget, but I bought a new BlackBerry to demonstrate what Ontario's future is all about. It's about innovation, it's about training, it's about matching our workers to the jobs that are going to be available in the 21st century. I'm particularly excited about our 10-year corporate income tax exemption for burgeoning companies that would help commercialize research from Canadian universities or colleges. Premier McGuinty actually came up with this idea and is really excited about it. The one thing we have heard throughout the pre-budget consultations is Canadians are great at research, but we're not so good at commercializing that research, and we think this will be a real impetus to that, and we're looking forward to implementing it in the next few months. It will, of course, be the first of its kind in Canada. Qualifying companies that would be established after March 24th of this year and before March 25th, 2012, will be exempt from the Ontario income tax and corporate minimum tax for its first decade in business. That is, I think, pretty exciting. We're hoping to encourage the growth of new companies in the bioeconomy, clean technology, advanced health technology, telecommunications, computer and digital technologies. But we're also open to all kinds of innovations, the development of prototypes and bringing new products to market. This proposal, together with our new venture capital fund, will help launch the next wave of innovative firms in Ontario. These incentives would also help bring new ideas to the market and turn concepts into products and profits. Our innovation investments help a whole range of groundbreaking companies. Atrio Medical in Hamilton, for example, which is run by a few graduate students at MAC, have invented a CPR glove. Because CPR is difficult to do even by professionals, the glove was designed to help people perform it properly. It won Time Magazine's award as one of the best innovations of 2007. That's the kind of innovation we need in Ontario. So to help ensure that innovation happens more often, we are also supporting skills and lowering business costs. Exactly what we should be doing to help Ontario grow. Yesterday, I also announced that we are continuing with our government's plan to help lower the cost of doing business in this province. In the 2007 budget, Ontario announced that it would accelerate the elimination of the capital tax to July 1st, 2010, and reduce high business education tax rates by $540 million when fully phased in. Back in the fall, 3 months ago, I proposed a package of business tax relief of $1.1 billion over 3 years, primarily benefiting manufacturers and resource companies. In this budget, I outlined a proposal to provide further retroactive capital tax cut for manufacturers and resource firms. This would entitle them to $190 million in rebates to help them invest and grow. We also plan to enhance the capital cost allowances, providing firms with $433 million over 3 years to invest in new machinery and equipment. Our total package of measures in this budget alone will provide $750 million in tax relief to Ontario business. When you add that to the $1.1 billion in our fall economic statement, that's close to $2 billion in corporate tax relief in the last 3.5 months. And we also initiated our plan to modernize business and financial regulations to help reduce red tape for hardworking business people. In the meantime, our government continues to make unprecedented investments in infrastructure, in healthcare, and in education, all of which will help to make Ontario a great place to live and still be a great place to invest. Today, I'd like to talk to you about one of the great success stories of the Ontario economy. Financial services and professional business services are major drivers of Ontario's knowledge economy. The strength of financial services has been one of the reasons that Ontario's economy has been resilient in spite of external challenges like high oil prices and the exchange rate. We were just talking with Warren about how all the economists that I've talked to have been so impressed by the resilience, and one of the reasons is because of sectors like financial services. This sector alone employs 350,000 people in the province, an increase of 12% since 2003. Toronto has the third largest concentration of financial service employment in North America, behind New York and Chicago. Toronto ranks 15th internationally as a global financial hub, according to international surveys. Toronto, of course, is the nation's business, financial, and cultural capital. Toronto is home to just under 1,000 business head offices, almost twice as many as Montreal, and 3 times as many as Calgary. Ontario has almost 1,500 head offices, accounting for 39% of the Canadian total. That is similar in proportion to Ontario's share of Canada's GDP. Financial services underlie the point that this province is a great place to invest. In fact, 2 of the largest investment banks in the world, Merrill Lynch and UBS, have made major investments in Toronto in order to provide services for their global operation. They made these investments because of the skilled financial workforce present in Toronto and because Ontario is a very competitive place to do business. We should be very proud, and I'm very proud of the success of our financial sector. You know, I grew up in Windsor, and in Windsor, in spite of our challenges, we're very proud of cars, the automotive sector. We build them, we buy them, and we export them. And it always struck me that we don't celebrate our banks, our insurance companies. They're among the best in the world. Switzerland, they celebrate it. So I'm here today to say that our government is going to work with the financial services sector. And I can tell you, as finance minister in Ontario, even today I look forward to when those tax returns come in. Because it is vital to the success of our province. And we're going to continue to work with the sector. Today, I am going to do a budget announcement that I left out of the statement yesterday because I wanted to do it here. I'd like to announce the establishment of a Centre of Excellence for Education and Financial Services to promote the advancement of financial services in Ontario. The idea, give it an applause. The idea is to create a virtual region-wide network of educators, researchers, financial service professionals, government partners, and experts in innovation and technology. They will work collaboratively to ensure that the sector attracts and develops the best and brightest talents to financial services in Ontario. It would support post-secondary research in financial services by helping to fund research chairs. 7 Toronto area universities and colleges are working with us to make this centre a reality. The skills and talents of Ontario people are our most important economic strength. The Centre of Excellence will help secure our talent advantage and provide a substantial resource for the sector. We know it will further strengthen Toronto's global hub for financial services education and training. We plan to invest $4 million over 3 years in the centre. Support for this initiative will be provided by the Ministry of Training, Colleges and Universities in partnership with the Toronto Financial Services Alliance. I would particularly like to thank my former colleague in the legislature and my predecessor as finance minister, Janet Ecker. As many of you know, Janet is the president of the Toronto Financial Services Alliance. She has driven this project from the outset. Her enthusiasm has been quite contagious. Her tireless efforts to highlight the importance of this sector should be credited to her ongoing commitment to the betterment of Ontario. Janet, thank you very much. We were down in New York a couple weeks ago promoting Ontario as a place to invest, and when I spoke of Janet, I pointed out to the folks there that she and I are not of the same political party, and I quoted the words of Vito Corleone in the Godfather movie and said, "Janet, as long as your interests and mine don't conflict, I wish you well." The Centre of Excellence is a great example of how partners across the divide of public and private, and across the divide of politics can work together to get great things accomplished. Partnerships are never easy. They involve hard work and compromise, but deliver real rewards. Ontarians expect the federal government to be a full partner in responding to today's challenges and building tomorrow's prosperity. We have a plan to meet and overcome the challenges currently facing our province, but we would get things done better and faster in partnership with the federal government. We need a federal partner to come to the table for our manufacturing sector the same way it does for other sectors in other parts of the country. We are proud Canadians. We're not looking for a special deal, we're looking for the same deal. I think it's time to step away from the partisan rhetoric, to step away from the cameras and sit down and actually work out what ideas work best for Ontario. Mr. Flaherty, let us move past our differences and talk directly about what matters to Ontario and how best we can all support it. As I said, thank you. Partnerships are not easy. Working together isn't always easy, but it's what the people of this province expect of us, and it's what we have a duty to deliver. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to conclude by saying that we are open to partnerships. It's how we like to do business. The McGuinty government has made great progress. We've built a strong foundation for this province. We have a pragmatic and balanced approach to the province's finances. By investing in health care, education, we ensure that the most important government services are strong. Our skills and post-secondary investments will ensure that we have the workforce to succeed. Our investment in infrastructure will help keep Ontario businesses moving. Our innovation initiatives ensure that Ontario will be at the cutting edge of new technology. Our investments in reducing the cost of doing business will help make it easier to grow and innovate in Ontario. And finally, our investment in the Centre of Excellence for Education in Financial Services will underline our advantage as a financial hub. The resilience of Ontario's economy will continue into the future because of the ingenuity, perseverance, and compassion of people like you. We are facing challenging times, but we will come out better and stronger than ever before. Thanks for hearing my words today.
Thank you, Minister Duncan. I'm going to call on Catherine Swift, who is the President of the Empire Club of Canada, to provide some thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Mr. Minister, head table guests, members of the Empire and Canadian Clubs, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to express our sincere thanks to Minister Duncan for helping to point out the challenges, but also opportunities that are facing us all right now. It's certainly worth noting your 5-point plan, every single point of which strikes a very important area that we need to develop here in Ontario. From the standpoint of my day job at the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, I'd also like to express our appreciation for measures such as the acceleration of the elimination of the business education tax for Northern Ontario. That's a measure that small businesses in particular, but all businesses, will certainly find very welcome in challenging times. And also the measures you've taken to date and in the budget to further the reduction of the red tape, paper burden, regulatory nightmare that faces small businesses in particular. I think also it's worth noting that, yes, there has been some lively rhetoric between the federal and Ontario governments in the last little while, but it's also worth noting that I don't know if a lot of people are really aware that over the past 2 years, the two governments collaborated to combine the collection of corporate income tax, and something so simple as that will alleviate a lot of the paper burden imposed by government on all businesses, and again, the small business sector is especially appreciative of that, and that actually comes into effect this year in 2008. So I think it provides an excellent model for other provinces too. So even when they're fighting, they seem to be able to collaborate on another level. So that's really great to see. So just in conclusion, thank you so much for coming here today, mere hours after presenting your budget, clarifying a lot of the measures for us today, and we too will be working for the future of Ontario as a key driver in the Canadian economy in the future. Thank you very much, Minister Duncan.
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Minister Duncan, and to all of you for joining us for breakfast today. This meeting is adjourned. Have a great morning.